All right, well, we've laid the airplane out. Again, this is a Seagull Yak 54. It'll be converted to a Power 90 electric. I did have the privilege of building this island, so I do know that the granite is almost perfectly level, but just to demonstrate that, and if you weren't sure if the surface was level, and the surface doesn't have to be level, we'll level the airplane regardless of the surface with the laser, but knowing that this is level will help. So I've got the laser set up here. What we will do is run a green line across the top of this. I'll do this in just a minute to show you that it's level. Then we're going to level the wings out. We'll actually use those servo boxes over there to sit the airplane up, get the wings nice and level, demonstrate that they're level. Then we will put the tail fin on, then the vertical stabilizer, and once we're pretty certain that everything is measured, level, perpendicular, we'll use some epoxy to glue it in. All right, so I've gone ahead and set the level up just to show you, just kind of as a test. If we come over here, that level is showing that the granite on this table is almost perfectly level. And there may be a little bit of distortion on the laser that just with the camera that could make it look off, but even the vertical board and that vertical line showing against the wood. Now the plane isn't leveled yet, but that line is perfectly level as well. So we have a perfectly level line, and then we have a perfectly perpendicular vertical line, which will give us the ability to set the airplane up and begin leveling. So I'm gonna do this in steps. I'll turn the camera off, set it up to respect your time, and then we will turn it back on and I'll show you the steps. So the next step is I'm gonna go ahead and level the wings of the plane using the servo boxes just to prop the wing up. You can use anything to prop the wing. And then the first check is we'll make sure the wing is nice and level. All right, so this took me about 60 seconds off camera. Got the laser set up, and if I come right up to it, I hope you can see the green laser line there on the vertical portion where the vertical stabilizer will go in. It's nice and straight. And then if I look up here at the wings, you'll see a nice laser line running through the top of the wing. I'll put my hand there, and then you'll see it right along the wing itself. Not the aileron, but the wing itself. We can come over to the right side, and that laser is running right down that side. Just put my hand in, and you can see where it shuts it off, but that runs right down nicely on the trailing edge of the wing itself, which is exactly what we want. And this airplane from Seagull, those wings are almost perfect, and then it is almost perfect with the vertical stabilizer. So that is a nice build from Seagull. And then you'll see that I've also used the line to mark and get the hinge for the vertical stabilizer that goes into the back of the fuselage perfectly level and perfectly centered. Okay, my next series of measurements, and I have already measured it and got it set up, but I will show you what I did, is I came over to the fuselage, measured at the exact same point, 10.5, and then again the trailing edge, not the elevator itself, but the trailing edge of what will be glued in, and that is 10.5, so that is a perfect distance. And then I'm going to measure from the back point of the trailing edge of the vertical stabilizer, not the elevator, but the tail, the tail fin or tail wing, not the elevator itself, but just the end of the tail, to the trailing edge of the wing, 36. I'm going to do the same for this one, exact same spot, and 36. So with both of those 36, I am pretty confident that that's where it needs to be. So I'm going to come and make sure the laser is set, and my laser line is still on the back of that wing. That's nice and parallel. So the next piece that I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the laser I'll just show you this real quick. So that line is still nice and parallel on both of those wings on the trailing edge. And we'll take a look at the tail now. Okay, so what I did off camera is I went ahead and moved the laser down to the trailing edge of the tail. And if you can see on my finger will light up here with the laser. And that laser is sitting perfectly across this edge here and perfectly there and still lined up perfectly there. That trailing edge is now parallel to this trailing edge, which tells me those are parallel. The measurements are good, and it is lined with at least the vertical portion of the fuselage. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the vertical stabilizer on, and we'll see if that is perpendicular to the tail. And if it is, we know our measurements are exact based on the laser level. All right, so off camera, I went ahead and inserted the vertical stabilizer with the rudder. Also added that hinge in, which we have cut. And I'm gonna come back and see if you can see it. But that laser, it's about maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little less than a 1/16 inch off from top to bottom. And then the trailing edge of the stabilizer is perfectly level. I think you can probably see the laser line right here that hits that trailing edge, and then the laser line running up the back of the tail or the rudder, and it is within a 1/16 of an inch. And then this side over here, the laser runs right down the top. I'm not sure if you can see it real well. I'm gonna go ahead and glue that in now, and am almost perfectly confident that I've got a tail that's parallel to the wings and a vertical stabilizer that's within a 1/16 or 1/64 of an inch perpendicular to both the wing and the tail, which I think will create a stable flying airplane. Appreciate your time. Hope that helped. I know I need to get a little bit better with the camera and the angles, but have enjoyed trying this. Hope everybody has a wonderful time flying and enjoy your time at the field.